there, as I'm fixing my necklace in the video here. Anyway, welcome back to No Reservations. Kasey Anton, that's me, guide to restaurant success. And we are on to episode 6. This is the marketing episode, marketing and branding. And we named it Marketing Magic, Attracting and Retaining Loyal Customers is the clever and interesting name. But actually, let's just get right down to it, because marketing and branding happen throughout your entire organization, throughout your whole business, from the dishwasher to the voicemail on your message to certainly your email and your social media, through every single one of your employees. Marketing is happening all the time, all around you, and certainly from within. So, I have a lot to say on this topic, but actually I'm going to try and keep it pretty concise, as I like to keep these episodes short and sweet. But I needed to start out with explaining, in case you weren't sure or you don't believe me, but marketing is extremely important to any business, but certainly the restaurant business. So it should not go overlooked. And marketing does not have to be expensive. As a matter of fact, it just shouldn't be expensive. Okay. So let's get that out of our thought process right now, that when you think marketing, if you're thinking expense, you should not, because you can market with zero expenses. So when I say that, marketing really just comes from, like I said, it comes from within. It comes from your core. It comes from your servers, table side, and how they're communicating and or selling with the guests. It comes from the person answering your phone at your restaurant. It comes from the manager's interaction with the staff, but also the guests. It comes from your social media and your website. So marketing it needs to be consistent, and it absolutely has to have a voice, and that voice should be in tune with your concept. And usually that is in tune with the owner themselves, right? It needs to feel very, very centered within you. And if you feel like you are running or owning, operating a business, maybe you've had it for a really long time or a few years, you just started out, it doesn't matter. If for some reason it just kind of feels like it's not really a part of you in that way, if you're thinking like, well, it's good enough, it's what people want, it's whatever, I'm going to ask you to really rethink that, because of how important marketing is, not only for to create loyal clientele, loyal customers, loyal guests, loyal staff, loyal suppliers, loyal anything. Not only for that reason, it actually will make you feel so much more connected to your business. And when you feel more connected, you will just thrive. And that thriving will bring in more sales, which will bring in more profit, especially if you're using Profit First for restaurants, right? So marketing is super important. And again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It should not be expensive. So simple things that you can do for your marketing. Well, number one is you should absolutely have a guest comment card to have anyone that comes into your restaurant fill out. Now, with that said, there is an entire chapter in my book, Profit First for Restaurants, on marketing. It's toward the end. It's chapter 12 or 13, I think. And there are all the tools that you can download for free from our website, Profit First, the number 4 restaurants.com. So Profit First for restaurants.com. And that's listed throughout the book as well, where you can download all these marketing tools. But they all start with gathering information from your guests. And a comment card can be whatever you want it to be. We have a template you can download, and you can change it up. You can Google it. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, is there an expense in printing them out? I mean, sure, it's paper and maybe ink in your printer, or having them printed if you really want to go fancy. You don't have to. It doesn't have to get crazy, because the bottom line is, when you are asking and I would recommend this, asking your clients to fill this thing out for you. You genuinely are asking them for their feedback. Hey, we have this restaurant here. We want you to come back. We want to know what you love. We want to know what you hated. And, and we want to be able to celebrate with you some of life's milestones, whether it is your anniversary or your birthday or anything really that might be indicative of your restaurant. But most common, there are anniversaries for some of the higher end restaurants, right? And then there's certainly birthdays for just about any restaurant. And you gather that information. And I think, who doesn't want to tell you their birthday? Not the date, the year necessarily. Like, I don't want to tell you my year, but I'll certainly tell you it's February 28th, which is coming up, right? And then you can get their email, which is fine. And you should, and if you have a reservation system, you probably already have their email, let's hope. So that's great. And then maybe you have your phone number, and maybe they're going to allow you to text them. All good. Email, texting, fine, great. But everybody's doing that. Like, literally everybody's doing that. I am still a believer in snail mail, right? Because the U.S. Postal Service has not gone bankrupt yet that we know of. They're still going to be around. I don't see them going away anytime soon. And yet, what do you get in your mailbox, right? What do you get in your mailbox? Maybe one type of magazine, some bills, maybe if you haven't opted to go paperless for everything yet. So what if you send somebody something in the mail for their birthday? So now I'm talking about an expense, right? Okay, so you got a piece of paper that you're going to print up an offer on. So whatever the piece of paper and whatever the ink in your printer cost you, you might already have these in your office. So maybe it'll cost you nothing if you already have this stuff. And then the offer them something that's worth getting out of bed for, something that would make you try a new place, or maybe you'll try a place that you didn't really love the first time. It has to be an enticing offer. And you just put it on a piece of paper and you mail it to them. And here's the thing, and I talk about this in my book. You could just fold it in an envelope and handwrite their envelope, or you could print it out or whatever, however you want to do it. I think handwriting also stands out, because how many times do you get something handwritten in your mailbox? So we're really looking to kind of stand out to your guests, to your future guests, your guests you want to come back. If there are too many, then you can certainly print labels out, but then put something of interest in the envelope. In the book, I talk about how we did the birthday promotion. We put just a birthday candle. So we just, on regular letter size paper, we had a birthday promotion we would print up, and we would put a birthday candle in the envelope. So it creates some interest. Like, what is this thing in this envelope? And then when it was summertime and we learned the hard way that the candles were just melting all over the place, we switched to balloons, obviously deflated balloons. And this is cheap. You can go buy a bag of balloons at the dollar store for $1, maybe get 12 balloons, put 1 or 2 balloons in there. Again, like deflated balloons, but they're colorful. They make you think of birthdays, and it's just a thoughtful, fun thing. You will stick in their mind that way. So those are just a few tips that I find that not many restaurants are doing. And you absolutely should. I mean, I think there's no reason not to be doing those. And that's just marketing for birthdays, anniversaries, whatnot. But there are so many other things that you could be marketing for. The check presenter that you may or may not still use at your restaurant. You could have a promotion put in there. People, I would say this, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think so. People are looking for things that are not on their phone. I think that unless you're a teenager, then that's not true at all. But if you're, I'd say 30s and above, late 30s maybe and above, you are looking for reasons not to look at your phone. At least enough of us. And that's why I think it's important to not just have a menu, QR code for your menu. You should have printed menus for people who want, but you should also have printed things to give to your guests while they're in your restaurant, or mail to them the regular, spend I think it's 68 cents now for a postage stamp, and send them something, because this is now an uncharted territory. It's no longer being used, and you will stand out to them that way. But the bottom line is this: you just are trying to show your guests that you care, that you want them to come back, that you want to hear about their experience, that you want to celebrate their birthday with them. That's it, really. And if you can somehow authentically and genuinely and inexpensively, which can be done, show this to them, tell them that this is what you want to do for them. They'll come back and they'll bring their friends. And I go through the whole thing, and I have a whole kit that you can download to do this kind of grassroots type marketing. And it goes beyond the celebrations. You could collect on these comment cards, and I'm talking about comment cards because I know I'm old school, but there are ways with an open table or any reservation system to put notes in. You can put notes of, their favorite dish, their favorite drink, their favorite bottle of wine, whatever. And then you'll be able to create a report, either if you're doing it manually, the way I have taught it with an Excel sheet or whatnot, and you can sort the report to find out who likes steak, who likes this dessert, who likes sangria, whatever it is, and had all those people's information at the top. And then create a promotion for them around that. Say you have sangria. Sangria is kind of a summer drink, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be, but traditionally it's usually summer. So maybe you take a picture of a gorgeous pitcher, a glass pitcher of sangria with lots of pretty fresh fruit in it. And then you add that. Not only can you put that Instagram worthy, right? Facebook worthy, you can print it out or have something printed with that on there and just say, spring's right around the corner. We know you like sangria. Look what we got coming for you. And send that out. These are things that'll stick in their heads, and they'll remember you the next time they're looking to go out to eat. There's a million examples that way. And I think that if you get out there, see your restaurant through your eyes or another set of eyes, which is really what the comment card's for, to see your restaurant through other people's eyes, but actually go into other restaurants and see what they're doing or where they're missing the mark. I know we're all critics, right? You'll find opportunities. You'll find examples there that will work for you. So those are all kind of the free or free-ish, very cheap things that you can do that I know work. I've tested them myself, and I know that was a while ago, but there's no reason for me to think they're not going to work even better, if not the same now. But in addition, if you have some money in a marketing budget, the restaurants is tough because we know we are a business of nickels and dimes, right? Nickels and pennies, really. A marketing budget on a really good cash flowing restaurant, and for most businesses as well, is usually around 3 to 5% if you can do it. Not a lot can do it. So let me say that clearly. Not a lot of restaurants can afford that line item. But if you can, 3 to 5 is great. But even if it's 1%, I would even say, if you're all in with the profit first system, and if you've started it, and I'm assuming you are all in because it works so well, you might even want to set up a separate account and just put 1% over from your OPEX to that account. Maybe from your real revenue. You can kind of decide what you want to put in there, but just something over there, and let it build up over a while you're thinking and maybe researching what would be a good marketing tactic for you. Because it might be a whole rehaul of your website. It might be if you own a cake store or a bakery and you don't have pictures of your beautiful confections all over it, that's an issue. Like, it might be a rehaul of your website. You need pictures of your dining room, of your guests, of your food. You need pictures. People are going there to see, can I see myself eating there tonight or whatever night? So you need that. If you don't have that, I would strongly suggest setting some money aside and putting the money into a rehaul or a new website. Or there's a social media, your Instagram. I'm sure you all already have it, but is it in your voice? Is it consistent? Is it branded? Does it say you on every single post? And then you can also create, what we do here at Spark, we just started doing it. It's kind of interesting. We do a social media takeover. So what we do is we have one of our employees each week. We change the password, and they can log in, and they know the parameters. I mean, you have to trust your employees, of course, and I hope you do. The parameters, and it's their job to post a story or two, a reel or two, and a post or two. And they have a week to do it in from their viewpoint. So I think for a restaurant, you know the right people in your organization, and maybe you should start at the top, from the owner, the general manager, the managers, whatnot, the chef, and have them do a social media takeover for a week, or maybe it's a day. You decide what works for you, and just have that viewpoint out there, because that's interesting. That's what people kind of want to see and hear, and it kind of endears them more to you, to your restaurant, gets them to come back. So, but if you are too busy, and I hope that you are, to deal with any of this, to deal with your website, you can hire someone to do a website. To deal with your social media, there are, especially for restaurants, there are firms out there that just specialize in getting to know you, your restaurant, and actually performing the posts weekly, monthly for your restaurant, you can hire them too. We actually have a Spark design and marketing department that we actually just started. We only take 1 or 2 clients for this, clients that really need our help. They're usually already clients of Spark, but if it's something you're interested in, you're more than welcome to contact us about that. We try and keep our rates as low as we can because we really just want to help our entrepreneurs do so much better and thrive in their business. That's our whole goal here. So, but I do recommend, if you do have the money for marketing or you need the money, set it aside, decide what you're going to do, because having a consistent branded voice out there is so incredibly important. Do not underestimate the importance of this. It is that important. And if you're not there yet, that I started off this podcast by giving you some free to very, very cheap options to just start scratching the surface. And the last thing I'm going to say is this, because it just popped in my head that I'm always trying to think what you're thinking, the listener. You might be thinking like, oh, okay, so I'm going to mail out 3 birthday cards, so to speak, and that's going to maybe bring in 2 guests. Okay, I hear you there. But let's follow that line. Just say you only have 3 birthdays for the month of February. You only know 3 people who have birthdays in the month of February, and you decide to go with what I say, and you print up a special offer for them, and it cannot be 5% off, or it can't be something dumb. It's got to be worthwhile. So you think of what that is. I did in my restaurant. We had a higher end restaurant, not the highest, but like mid to higher end. We did a $20 off or a $25 off. I think we did $20 off was most successful because it's like $20, and we had no fine print. That was the key. No fine, not like $20 if you spend $2,000 here. No, it was $20, and I say this in the book, where my business partners at the time were like, are you nuts? These people could come in here and sit at the bar and just spend 20 and then not and then we're out the money. Okay, let's just try it and see what happens. If that happens, that happens. So at least we got butts in the seat, and there's something to be said for that, right? It never happened. People came in, they always brought at least 1, usually 3, 4, 5 other people, spent above and beyond the 20 because they felt like, hey, I got this free $20, so let's get drinks, appetizers, entrees, desserts, more than they probably would have spent. So we made that money back and more so. And again, the whole chapter in the book, and I tell you exactly what happened as I kept doing this. So while it may only start with 1 or 2 birthdays you're bringing in, those 1 or 2 birthdays are stoked that you remembered, that you mailed something to them. Now when they come in, you have an opportunity to really roll out the red carpet treatment, be obnoxious with it, sing them happy birthday. Oh my God, I was just in the Bahamas, and they have this great birthday song they do where they get everybody involved. I tried to do it at my restaurant. We did it a little bit. I think it kind of, it veered off at the end, but we would make at least 5 of the bussers, food runners, servers come by and clap and sing happy birthday. People love to embarrass their friends and family on birthday, right? The birthday candle, the whole bit. So even if you're saying whatever, I can get 1 or 2 people in here, take that little tiny ball and run with it, because it will snowball into having more and more people show up for their birthdays, their friends, their family's birthdays. And then they'll start thinking about you for other occasions or just regular dinner anyway. And the sky is the limit. And if you read the book, you'll see how far we took it and how much money we made off that very, very inexpensive promotion. So, all right, that is it. I am wrapping up episode 6 on marketing magic. You know where to find us. If you ever have any questions, feedback, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please let us know. Thanks so much for listening.